Welcome back again to Tradalysis. It's a Monday on the 13th of July 2020, and it's time to discuss our paper trades that we took today. The three stocks which I traded today were Zeel, Tata Motors, and JSW Steel. I'll be taking you through these trades, and we'll be discussing my analysis and my psychology while I was taking these trades. The first trade that I was looking at and I took was Zeel. The opening range was here. As you can see, these white lines. The super trend was green, so I was looking for bullish trades, and I placed an order here at the high of the opening range. Although there was a lot of resistance here, this is a weekly pivot, and the blue line, the light blue line, which you can see here, was yesterday's high, I should say, yesterday's high. So there was resistance, but it broke out of all these resistances. But after the trade was on and it went up till here and started coming down, and there were no levels which I could see from which this stock was taking resistance. So I preferred to stay in this trade, and while I was trailing my stop loss with the super trend, and ultimately I got stopped out at 172.4, somewhere right here. I had taken this trade and I got filled at 173.5 here. So it was a losing trade, but it was okay. So good trade, everything according to plan, not a problem. The next trade was Tata Motors. Now I was not looking at this stock in the beginning. I didn't find a setup in one of the three stocks that I was looking at, so I changed one of them to Tata Motors. If I was looking at it in the morning, I would have taken a trade here, which is breakout of the high of the opening range with the green super trend. But luckily, I wasn't, and this trade started moving down, and I took a short trade here. Now, if anyone was looking at the opening range and would have traded here, it would have got trapped. Although I think most people look at the 15-minute range. Even if someone was looking at the 10-minute range, he would have got trapped here and it started moving down with the red super trend. I got filled at 108.4, somewhere right here, and it started taking support. As you can see, these long tails started taking support on the weekly pivot, and it went up. And I decided to exit at 108.65 as I saw that it was taking support, and it could have moved against my trade a lot. So I exited at 108.65. Even after exiting the trade, the stock didn't move much. Although, yeah, there was a profit. There could have been a profit here, but I would have got stopped out due to my trailing somewhere right here. So it was okay. Again, not a problem, even though it was a losing trade. The next trade was JSW Steel. Now, I wouldn't say that this was a mistake according to plan, but I don't think it's a technically sound idea to take this trade. What I did was I saw that this opening range was broken on the downside, but the super trend was green, so I didn't take a short trade um, in the morning. But after it rallied up, it took some resistance from the previous day's high. The blue line is the previous day's high. It didn't test the high of the opening range. It took resistance from here. This gap up was interesting to see in intraday, and after it came down from there, it uh, again broke out from this line. Now the problem was that um, if this was an opening range here, let's say that this was a super trend somewhere right here, and the super trend was signaling a short trade, then if this broke out, then this would have been a lower low. But here it isn't a lower low. So from the next time, I wouldn't be taking a short trade because this isn't a lower low and it isn't actually an breakout, opening range breakout trade. So this was a loss, which I think it was my mistake. Although it was my plan to take this trade and that is why I took it, but the next time I won't be taking these trades. I entered at 195.95 at the low of this candle and exited at 196.65 as I saw that this stock was taking support at the previous day's low. The blue line which you can see is the previous day's low, and after I exited my trade it again took support, consolidated for a while, went up, came back, again took support, and